Hi, while I was away, I got deep into my wisdom era. Now, back then, I didn't know how it would pan out. I didn't know how my wisdom era would look like. All I knew was that God had slapped me. He had made me realize that I'd been foolish for far too long, which had messed up my life, and I needed to change. That's all I knew. I started studying the book of Ecclesiastes soon after. But the cool thing was how God orchestrated it all. So let me backtrack kidogo. Prior to this, I had been consuming a lot of Miles Monroe content, a lot. And I'd been learning all these things about the kingdom mindset, about God's original intent for me and for humans. And my mind was opened to this whole new life that I, as a Christian, should be living, that every Christian ideally should live and experience. And the more I studied Miles Monroe, the more I realized that God's original intent for me was way over there. And me, I was way down here. Like, I desired this life so bad. I really wanted it. And the discrepancy between the life I was living then and the life that I knew God wanted me to live was so big, was so loud. I didn't know how to bridge it. I really wanted my faith to reflect in my life. I wanted to be able to quote scriptures and then they come to life, both in terms of what I need to do and what I'm asking God to do. I wanted just the scriptures to come to life. I really wanted God to reveal to me where the problem was so that He and I could fix it together. And it was in the midst of this that God slapped me. How God brought all these things in my life together to culminate into my wisdom era was so cool. So here I am studying Miles Monroe and learning all about this kingdom mindset, about God's original intent for me. I start desiring this life. I start praying and fasting and making all these prayers and asking God to reveal to me where the problem is, where the disconnect is happening. And then God slaps me. And then I'm about to begin studying Ecclesiastes. And then the book of Proverbs was going to come after that. I mean, all that just showed me that God is so invested in me. He's so invested in my future, in my life, in my success, that I can't fail. Like, He will literally and practically interrupt your life. That's what He did. He interrupted my life so that He can put me on the right track. But I think He interrupted it because I gave Him permission to. I was welcoming it. I gave Him permission to interrupt it, and so He did. And I am convinced at this point, I am so convinced that it is impossible, even for me, myself, to derail my own life. It is impossible. God has proved over and over that He is my boss. I have given Him lordship over me. And so, how can I fail even? His hand is on me. He's willing to move heaven and earth to make sure that His will for my life comes to pass. Nobody can convince me, like no one. So in the coming videos, I'm going to share how my wisdom era went down. And hopefully you're also going to be convinced that God is so invested in your life. He's not going to let you fail. But you have to give Him permission. You have to give Him the lordship, man. That's where it all begins. So, cheers. The journey continues. Oh, cheers. The journey continues.